This is Average Sports.
By your average guys,
Eric.
and Ty. That would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning into another episode
You're
of
listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
That's right. It is another episode, and we are going to give you another average one.
Yes,
because it is a boom shakalaka. So maybe not, maybe above average. But either way, welcome to the show. Yeah, we'll see.
It's debatable.
It is Average Sports with the average guys, and if you are new to the show, here's how it works. We are going to give you some sports talk. That's it. In an average way. We're just going to talk about what's on our mind.
Yeah.
We have
10,000 foot view.
That's right. See what's going on around there and just what we want to jump into and what we've noticed in the last couple of weeks since the last time we recorded. And so let's get into it. Bringing everyone up to speed in the sports universe. Starting off with, let's get this out of the way because it is just a tough story to digest. Joe Quenneville, though, loses his job. Did he resign?
He resigned.
Okay.
But
kind of a forced resignation.
Yeah, he had the meeting with Gary Bettman, commissioner of the NHL, and coming from that, essentially he resigned. I'm not sure what happened in that meeting or the details coming from that meeting, whether it was going to be like, we're going to suspend you for the season or whatever the case was, but he has resigned over essentially assault, harassment and assault charges stemming from the Chicago Blackhawks, his former team back in 2010. I can't remember off the top of my head who the
Kyle
player
Beach.
was. Beach. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember the specifics or anything like that. I just saw the headline and I read a couple of stories more centered around Joe himself being out as a coach and what surrounded that. Not necessarily.
It's almost like shades of Sandusky. If you recall Penn State, like Sandusky could have done something, but he didn't.
Yeah.
he knew about something and didn't. Paterno. I'm thinking. Yeah,
but we were also dealing with much heavier.
Oh, yeah. No, the content. Either way, though, we're still talking about, whether you're talking about with minors or an adult, there is unsolicited sexual harassment that's going on. It's a serious thing. And it's, again, it's a tough one to see in sports headlines. And Chicago, it doesn't end with Joe Quenneville. Chicago was fined $2 million, I think. So that's...
Yeah.
That seems lofty. I don't know.
In Chicago, also, it was Patrick Kane that had, and I'm not sure whatever happened to it, but Patrick Kane himself had a bunch of sexual assault charges as well.
Interesting.
Brought against him a couple years ago. I don't know if that ever settled or what the case was. So,
well, the Blackhawks are winless this year. You think there's a distraction maybe going on? I don't know.
Potentially. I think
they're also just not that strong of a club.
I think they had a good offseason. I think they brought in some key players. They were getting Jonathan Toews back, who was out all last season with some fatigue issue syndrome. It almost sounds like it was an autoimmune disease. Like he couldn't practice at all. Otherwise, his heart rate would jump through the roof, and he was feeling super fatigued and tired. So it was some real issue health issue that he had going on. But he's back on the ice. I think they should be better this year, but they are off to a very rough start. And
I kind of said that more tongue in cheek. I think they absolutely have a distraction in place, Eric. So maybe that's why they are winless. But anyway,
there you go.
Yeah, I'm going with that.
Next.
What is happening? World Series, though. Let's talk about something that has been fun and exciting, especially if you are rooting for the National League team, the Braves.
Yeah.
We said this in the last episode. I don't want to see Houston win. I want them to go to the basement for a little while, even though they do have, I think it's a very fair argument that when they were called out for their cheating scandal, that they have a lot of new faces on the team. But it's not 100% turnover.
No,
they do have a lot of new young talent. So good for them for being as good as they are. But at the same time, I don't want to see that brand succeed as much as they are right now. So they are now at a 3-1 series behind.
I certainly get that. I think I am pulling for the Braves as well in this particular series. I was certainly pulling for Houston over Boston.
Oh yeah,
I don't care how much Houston cheated. As long as they beat Boston, I could care less. So thank you, Houston, for at least beating the Red Sox.
Sure.
For me.
Okay.
And then let's go Braves.
Yeah, do the chop, man.
Last night's game was awesome.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's game 4.
The Astros were up 2-0, 2-1, and then back-to-back solo homers from the Braves. in the 7th inning, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Put the Braves on top, and yeah, it was awesome, man. That's an exciting.
Well, and they lost some key players in, of course, going back to the beginning of the season, Acuna, and then in the postseason they lost their starting, like their best pitcher.
Yeah, broken leg.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the fact that he even went back out there to throw another inning and got through it, and then he's like, "Nah, I think my leg's broken." That's crazy.
I broke my leg.
Yeah,
there's no way.
That's way better than the Kurt Schilling bloody sock, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if that supersedes like your interest in sports, look it up. Google that GTS.
That's a pretty big moment in sports.
Of course, yeah.
Sure.
But having a broken leg and pitching,
Series,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that should be like, what did this guy do? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Braves, in other words, they're playing a little short, and they're still getting it done against a really quality club. So
yeah, they should. And probably by the time this episode gets up, game number 5 will have already been played because that's playing tonight. But it should be.
Oh, is that right? It's Halloween, by the way, today as we're recording.
It is Halloween as we are recording this.
Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, we got to get that on. Yeah, this is the spooky episode too. Here's the best sound I have. Ooh. Chills.
It's kind of spooky. It's like slightly reminiscent of Jason or Freddy.
Sure, we'll go with that. Anyway, get back on track. Game 5, I guess, then is happening. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But let's turn the corner because we're going to have a lot of football talk actually coming up.
Yes.
But the NBA and NHL seasons are underway. We just mentioned.
It's awesome. Yeah. Panthers are in first place in the NHL.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I got to look this up.
Yeah, why don't you look that up? I did look it up today. They're in first place, I think, with the most points. They are doing fantastic. And then there's a 5-way tie in the NBA, in the early NBA season for first place. That is the New York Knickerbockers, Washington Wizards, Chicago Bulls, my Miami Heat.
Oh, okay.
Out east. So there's 4 teams in the east and then 1 team in the west, and that is the Golden State Warriors. All at 5-1. And in fairness to the Jazz are 4-1. They have not played as many games as the others, but they did just lose to the Bulls. Last night or the night before. So congratulations. There's a bunch of front-running teams out there.
Yeah, hey, real quick, LeBron James, I keep hearing anything about basketball, like, oh, is James playing? He's got some injuries going on this season, right?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay. I think he played in the last game, but right now, just looking it up, LA is at 3-3. I think we had talked about this, but like as preseason was beginning with the NBA, and mentioning that they have a lot of star power, like good names, but do they have depth? And is their age depth, more of a concern?
The depth is going to be injury. We've talked about age with LeBron James teams before in the past. Like he always seems to have like this really veteran squad around him, and it's no different this year.
Yeah.
Although the difference is that LeBron James is super old.
He's getting there, right?
Yeah. Compared to 10 years ago when he was doing the same thing. So,
right.
We'll see. Obviously, him and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, I mean, that's a great core. But, yeah, do they have the bench squad to compete? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll kind of have to just take it from there and see what happens. I mean, they're in a tough conference out there, but 3-3 still doesn't have them that.
No, it's way early, of course.
It's early season.
So with the 5-1 record going out for the Knicks and the Bulls, are you buying into either of those teams?
The Bulls, yes.
Yeah?
I'll buy into the Bulls.
All right.
The Bulls had a great offseason.
The Knicks have done it to everyone before, right?
The Knicks were a playoff team last year, if my memory serves me correctly.
There's no way they got past the first round, though.
I didn't say they got past.
Yeah, there's no way.
I just said they made it in advance.
Fair enough. I mean, also half the league goes to the playoffs too.
And the Heat are still a really good team. So obviously I know I'm a homer there, but they're a good team. They've done it for years, years and years. They had a great offseason. Got DeMar DeRozan added to that roster. Right. They're great.
Well, how about my St. Louis Blues going 5-0 to start the season? Still only lost one game. Won last night.
Yeah.
6-1. That's a great start.
Good, man.
The Flames, though. Calgary is also 6-1.
Yeah.
With one overtime loss, so that's pretty good.
My Rangers are off to a great start, too.
Ooh.
They're 5-2-1. I mean, we're going to get into the NHL standings here.
Oh, is that right? So I'm spoiling a lot. Okay. We'll get to it.
Yeah. A lot of good teams, leading the top there. I do remember, I'm going to call it out because we don't spend time on this during the Lightning standings, but your Los Angeles Kings, who you picked.
I did.
win in that division are not doing super hot.
I mean, they got 3 wins.
Yeah. That's half as many as
their loss. Yeah,
it's still early. So
definitely still early.
But that's what I got, man. So I mean, I think that there's so much to talk about right now, and I think that
because it's the best time of year in sports, isn't it?
Sports.
This has been a regular thing with our last couple of episodes, but it really is. You got World Series right now, like we said, NHL, NBA, full swing. And
mid-season
football, come on.
NFL, I mean, like, it's not, you know, it's like not necessarily the excitement of like week 1 or week 2, but I mean, you're into this time of year where these teams are good or bad, and that leads us right into our topic.
There we go.
We mentioned on it last week about the Chiefs being in last place and kind of poking fun at that, and then they went out and got
demolished. Yeah,
absolutely smoked. You know, I mean, what can we expect from the Chiefs moving forward? I mean, theirs is a Monday night game against a pretty good defense in the Giants, but a team that is missing their best weapons offensively tomorrow night. If the Chiefs go out and look anything but stellar against the New York Giants, there is some serious concern now that we're halfway through the year. I mean, where are you at with that?
Well, the thing I was pinpointing on the last episode of like, well, here's what's letting them down. It's mostly on defense because they're still getting production done.
Their defense is atrocious, 100%.
Yeah. You can't really point too many fingers at the offense. They are putting points on the board. Now, they did not against Tennessee. Wasn't that who they lost to dramatically? Yes. Like just horribly in the first half. And then I don't think they knew it was game over by, third quarter. But for the most part, they have competed quite well throughout the season in terms of offensive production, but then defense is just letting in all these points. So could you also just say it's either poor management then? You're not managing the clock well enough. They've had some costly turnovers. For the most part, though, the makeup of the Chiefs are largely the same. I mean, I don't know where you... So, like, it is just a surprise and a shock to a lot of people, surely, because that was an automatic, like, oh, we know who's going to win that division at the end of it. And now you have to put it, not even just a question mark. I would expect them not to win, and it's more possible now that they'll come in last place. That's wild.
It's very possible to come in last place. I think the Broncos
could still take
last place there.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as the Chargers look really, really good up until last week or the week before. Who did they get destroyed by? Was it Baltimore? I think they got really beat down by.
Yeah.
We'll have to look that up.
No, I think you're right.
On here.
Right.
The Raiders are definitely better than, they're not, a 12 or 13 win team, but I mean, they're certainly a 9, 10, 11 win team. I think they could certainly pull that out. And the Broncos are going to be competitive in I think a lot of games. They're getting Jerry Jeudy back, so this could be really tough for the Chiefs. But you look at the Chiefs; they still are doing, for the most part, outside of Tennessee, they've scored more than 20 points in every game.
Wow!
Scored more than 30 in 4 of their 7 games. The 3 games that obviously to the Chiefs, and they had 2 other games that they lost where they scored under 30. But it seems like for the Chiefs to win, they're going to have to score more than 30 points.
Right, which is unfair. That's a tall order. And get this, they are right now. I'm just looked at. That's true. That's what they've been getting by. And so are they just? It's not luck. I mean, are they just? They were just that perfect for the last few years, and now that they are just slipping a little. That they're not getting over 30 points a week, that, the defense is now exposed as, they're not holding up. Or
I think that's part of it, and I think the division getting better is part of it, too.
Sure,
like the Chargers being a legit
it's a good
team.
Division, yeah.
The Raiders not being a walkover anymore. The Broncos not being a walkover anymore. Now, the Broncos are still probably the worst team in that division, but they should be competitive. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, they might win this week. And that's going to still put them in a competitive mix as far as the record goes.
Of course.
And, I mean, they're third ranked as far as offense goes in the entire NFL, according to ESPN. Like, just looking this up. Well, they should have a better record. It's astonishing, though, to know that a franchise, a team can be that fragile.
How many points against?
Oh, I'm sure a ton.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I mean, while he looks that up, I mean, they still have all the pieces. You know, obviously Mahomes is a young franchise quarterback. Tyreek Hill is a franchise wide receiver. Travis Kelce, he's definitely getting up there in age, but he's shown no slowing down whatsoever.
The dude's an animal, yeah.
And they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be this stalwart running back.